All hits, all the time. Star 98.3. It is 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. Or make that 7 o'clock. Don't want to rip you off for an hour. Sorry.
No.
It's 7:09. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody. So glad to have you with us for today. Sunny with a high near 68. And tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 49. And we would like to welcome in studio this morning Rita Weaver. She is running for school board for St. Mary's County. Good morning. Glad to have you on board again.
So much for having me.
Oh, we're glad to have you. Now, how is the campaigning going? How are things happening for you out there?
Really well. I've had a great time going through the process. I've met so many neat people and made some new friends too along the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you don't hear very often in political campaigns.
Not at all.
Well, of course, you've seen me out there sign waving. I've been outdoor knocking. That has been a great experience, too, getting to meet people.
How many doors do you think you've knocked on?
Oh, I'd say at least 1,000.
Really?
Yes, at least 1,000. And believe it or not, I would get off work on Saturday morning at 7:30, and the other weekend I was out in front of Lowe's out there sign waving for 2 hours. So I've been on the go, making sure that people know I'm out there, and I'm out there hearing their concerns.
And what are their concerns? What do you hear people talking about when it comes to the school board in St. Mary's County?
Oh, a lot of things. One, the budget, transparency, they're not being heard when they're voicing their opinion. So many numerous things that people are saying. I've talked to some staff bus drivers, cafeteria workers. They feel left out because everybody's talking about the teachers. I talked to the teachers, and they're, once again talking about, they've got to use their own money for getting school supplies. So, and I did have the opportunity to talk with the administrators union, and that was a great experience too, to hear their concerns.
What are their concerns? Because I hear a lot of people when it comes to the administrators, and this may be my misconception, and that's very, very possible. I mean, I'm not on top of everything that's going on, but with the administrators, I hear all the time that, you get these administrators that are in there and they're making $100,000 plus, and the teachers, they're obviously not making that. What are the grievances that the administrators have?
Well, I found that a lot of them, they're because of them taking away some of the jobs, now they have double jobs, and they're going, because they're exempt, so they're not getting paid hourly. They are, they could be working 12 hours a day.
And that's their grievance of the hours.
Not the hours. It's just that they're, they're having double duty, whereas they used to have two people, now they have one.
One of the things that is always kind of interesting for me, school board is just one of those things that I don't know a lot about. And, it's you have 5 or 6 people on a school board. I don't really know what it is they do. But it is an interesting position. And one of the things you had mentioned earlier was the budget. And not that this has anything to do with the school board per se, but that has been a real pebble in my shoe. And I've talked to a lot of commissioners who have come in here, and I've talked to a lot of school board people and a lot of educators. And this whole issue with the St. Mary's County school board budget, I'm just going to lay my cards on the table here. This is my personal opinion. It's all very hinky. Between $6 and $8 million went missing. Okay? Right. It came up short. And they said, well, that's because teachers got pregnant.
Well, health care.
That's right. Zero tolerance for pregnancy, right?
Well, listen, I'm just going on what they said. That was the first balloon they floated. Oh, it was pregnant teachers.
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
Teachers don't ever get pregnant.
Well, apparently it costs a teacher 100,000 times more than the average human to get pregnant.
And also,
well, hold on, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead,
so they said, okay, well, no, it's teachers getting pregnant. And then they said, okay, no. Here's where the budget problem was. Well, we just didn't factor in the amount of that it would take for health care, and so we've done that math, and then everybody's like, okay, so what's the deal? Where's the money? Well, it's all right now, and then a whole bunch of top administrators just left. And I would like to know where the hell the money is.
Absolutely. And this is my thing that I have said over and over and at the forums, and some of the board members have criticized. I definitely know Todd Morgan, and one specifically criticized me for saying that
Todd Morgan criticized you?
No, not Todd Morgan.
Because that doesn't sound like a Todd Morgan
No, the Board of Ed members were out there criticizing him for asking for a forensic audit, and I have been asking for that too. And one of the board members.
Let's just say the people now at this point demand it, because I would love a forensic audit myself.
But here's the deal. But I don't know that people are demanding it. Everybody's just kind of like, oh, well, just stop asking. It's okay now.
Actually, when I'm door knocking, I'm going to tell you there's a lot of angry people. And one of the things that normally when you do an audit, you do 20% of go through 20% of the budget. This year, they were proudly stating, well, we did 50%. Well, that leaves 50% unturned.
Right.
So they cherry-picked which ones, okay. So there's a lot there that has been left uncovered. And I just believe that we need to find out where that mistake was made or mistakes
because
so that we don't do it again.
If you don't think that there's going to be health cost increases coming down the pike either, I mean, there's going to be trouble with health care constantly from here on in. I mean, you cannot, it's very hard to budget for. But if you're coming up, $7 million shy, and the big blame is on health care, there has to be a way to figure that out before you do the budget for the next year. There has to be.
So, when you talk to the people that are the professional in that area, so the insurance company they do give you about how much you should put to the side.
Right.
And you really
for
need
overages and things.
Right. So you do need to listen to that. But one of the things that I have a concern with, and this is where I've heard a lot of staff have concerns with, is that, the money had disappeared. Now it's reappeared.
Yeah.
Magic. And that the board members, not all of them, but some of them, they don't believe in a forensic audit is the best use of our limited funds, in quotes. So, but what... That's from one of the board members. Okay, but my concern is why did they now all of a sudden... Is the best use of our money being spent on a attorney from Delaware come in at $300 an hour to find a leak, and what are you going to do with the leak anyway?
First of all, I would love it if more people in the board leaked. I would like it if more people. It's called transparency. We're allowed to know stuff. And that's what, you're not a monarchy. And I think that's what some of these school boards, that's what they think. They think that they have their little fiefdoms, and that's a school system, and they rule over the kids, so they rule over the parents. That's not the way it is. That's not the way it's supposed to work. And this whole leak situation is nonsense. I want to know more. I want to know what goes on behind closed doors.
Right. And that is my biggest thing that I've been out there since and I said last time, and I keep saying over, when I went to the board, when I was dissatisfied with something, that I was ignored.
I hear that a lot.
You said that
parents.
was the big pushing point for you to get involved in the school board. Was it that you just weren't being heard?
Right. I got, besides making the phone call, and that never went to a board member, that was blocked by the superintendent. The past superintendent, let me put it that way.
Right.
But when I typed up a letter and handed it to each board member, I did not get a response from them either, because I hand delivered it to each one. And
nobody called? Nobody said
No.
Even to say, I understand your problems, blah, 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 we'll pass it on and we'll look into it. Nothing.
No.
As a parent, you did that, not as a
right. As a parent, this was like a year and a half ago, and that's really
that would be frustrating.
And that's really what prompted me to start going to the board meetings. So I've been going to the board meetings, even though I was working.
I bet they'd love to see you come.
Yes, they did, because I've spoken at some.
Well, if elected, how are you going to fix that, Rita? I mean, are you going to call every single person, everybody that calls you or sends you a letter or an email?
Actually, I have. Let me put it this way. People have called, emailed me, and asked. People have asked to meet with me, and I have done it. Now, what I believe should happen is, and I would set the example, and I hope others would follow on the board, that we have time before the meeting or after the meeting. Someone can, make their voice heard talk to me or talk to the other board members, and then we set up a time. Okay, we can meet with you, on a certain day. But I just believe that everybody, if they have a concern or an issue or an even idea, it's important. And that we do need to make ourselves available to listen, whether it's, like I said, email, phone call.
Yeah, that would be nice if people could be heard.
What are your other concerns about the board, and those concerns, how would you change them if elected on November 4th?
Okay, so the transparency that we just talked about, I know that's like a big buzzword right now, but that's open and honest communication. Right. And I do believe that right now the interim superintendent, Scott Smith, is doing a great job changing things around on that. He's posted his contract on there, the budget, and that really is what needs to happen. Whether it's any new policy that's going on, anything big, really needs to be on the website for parents to be able to easily get to. Not just parents, but the community, the taxpayers. And when you have open and honest communication, things fall into place a lot easier because people don't believe that you're hiding things, and things are a little bit, it's more clear cut. And maybe it's because of the job that I'm in. I've got to be just very clear and out there. And
because you're an ER nurse, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. By trade, you're an ER nurse. And you've been in the military before as well, correct?
That is correct. Mm-hmm. So I just think that if things are out there, and when we go to the county commissioners for saying, we need such and such, they're not thinking, what are you hiding? Are you hiding money? Are you not using it in the right way? Mm-hmm. If we can show them exactly where we're using it, why we're using it, or why we need more money, then it's going to be a better rapport.
So if you are elected, you are going to push for a forensic audit. I mean, the whole thing, the whole shoot and shebang, the whole thing.
I believe that there should be. And I know that some people say, well, it's a waste of money. Well,
I don't think so.
But the thing is we don't want to make this mistake again.
Right. How to fix, right. You need to fix this so people don't lose their jobs or their health care doesn't go up or whatever the case may be.
And I think it would be...
a forensic audit, I think, would be less than hiring a person to come down and look for a leak for $300 an hour. Let's audit. Let's work those numbers out and see which one is easier.
Well, I'd like to see the contract for that one because it's basically open-ended.
Is it really?
Well, I was sitting at the board meeting and... I believe it was Mary Washington asked, well, is there, a limit to this, a time limit or a budget limit? And there was no answer to that.
So this person coming in, questioning people and looking for a leak, it's $300 an hour. There's no end to the contract. So he could look for this for a year and pay. I mean, it would cost $100,000.
Maybe you would, if you had a contract like that, maybe you wouldn't even want to find the leak.
I don't know.
Maybe it could just go forever.
Who knows? Possibly.
Kind of steering back to the budget thing, one of the things that I did want to talk about was that the county commissioners have done over the maintenance of effort for several years in a row. And I really think that...
But not much above that, right?
Well, it was like this year it was $3 million above. But you have to look at what they're doing, too. They're budgeting for the whole county.
Right.
Now, what I went back and I did my research, from year to year to year. And this past year, they ranked, 13th and, 15th in county funding. So 15th in county funding out of 24. But what happens is our money, our taxpayer money, is going to other counties because they're not putting in as much. So I believe that we need to be going to Annapolis to ask for that money back for our own community.
So St. Mary's County taxpayer dollars are going to other counties because we're not using it.
Not that we're not using it. They're taking it and they're putting it to other counties that are not able to give as much to.
I gotcha. But you want St. Mary's County money back here to use it.
I want it back.
Okay.
I want it back.
Kind of makes sense.
Now, before we let you go here, Rita, is there anything you want the voters to know before? I mean, we're a week away from the election. Is there anything that before you leave here you want people to know about you?
Yes. First of all, that I have many qualifications that enable me to be an effective board member and to be able to communicate with the parents, staff, county commissioners, community. I hold a master's degree. I've got that from University of Maryland. I'm an emergency room nurse. I'm a teacher or adjunct professor at the College of Southern Maryland for nursing students. I'm prior military. I was in the Navy for 8 years. And my biggest thing that I want to see happen is putting the money first when we're budgeting into the classroom for the students and for the tools that teachers need to be able to teach. Because you can't spread it everywhere else and then hope for the best. You know, I kind of equivalent that to, like, we've built a hospital, we've staffed it, we got the nurses, the doctors, and the techs in there, but no equipment.
Right.
I gotcha.
So we need to get it back where it's supposed to be, because that's the whole reason we're here. We're here for the students and for their education.
And I'm assuming a corner post, if you are to be elected to the school board, would be returning phone calls.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Listen, thank you, Rita, for coming in this morning. We appreciate it. Her name is Rita Weaver. She's running for school board, and that's one of those things that, you know, I shouldn't speak for myself. I don't really follow that very closely, but there you go.
Maybe you should start.
Maybe I should start. Yeah, that's a very good point.
You come to the board meetings.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that's a hoot.
Sounds like a soap opera I want to watch. Okay, well, thank you, Rita, for coming in this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, 7:25. Let's get a check of traffic, see what's going on.